Hello and welcome to our latest episode of Relatable Catholic.
Hello.
Hello.
How is everyone? I feel like I don't know, it hasn't been a while.
It was a long weekend.
Yeah, it was.
But it was a good weekend.
You know, I've been trying to figure out why my legs hurt, and I think it's because I was just kneeling so much. Just church calisthenics up and down. Actually, no, I think it was when I had to move that one kneeler.
Yeah? Well, could have been a combination of both.
Combination of both.
There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of kneeling with the Eucharistic.
Yeah. Did you find it to be like a fun weekend or a stressful weekend? Both.
It was mostly fun. There was a little bit of stress, but mostly fun. Yeah, it was good.
It was a good weekend. It was beautiful.
And you had a big celebration yourself, Father.
I did. My anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, my 7-year anniversary.
7 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When was it?
Yesterday, the 26th.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't want
7
anyone
years.
to sing me happy anniversary.
We're going to throw a party next year, though. We talked
Yeah.
about this. It's going to be big event.
Nice.
Yeah, so
So it's just 7 years.
just exactly 7 years.
Got it.
Not just. That's a long time.
No, I mean, like, I thought that you were a priest already for 7 years, but, like, you were at 6 and now
Correct.
7.
Got it.
Your 7th
got it. So you
priest's birthday.
have your
2018.
7 trips around the sun as a priest.
Yep.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
For real.
Yeah.
I do love singing.
If you could have a hat that says
Yes.
priest and you could thank you for your service.
I guess the collar works.
Yeah. No, for real. Thank you. And thank you for being in Bellevue
I'm happy to be here.
at my house. How was your long, beautiful Memorial Day weekend?
It was good.
Restful, hopefully.
We had a lot of parties, a lot of celebrating.
Yeah?
Yep. A lot of softball. But it was good.
Celebrating at softball.
Yeah.
Celebrate at softball.
Woo.
Maybe.
Yeah. I did have some good popcorn.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it was good. What about you?
Yeah, it was
Busy.
like Father. Yeah. Good, busy, but beautiful. It was such a beautiful weekend. I think it was just like the perfect way to cap off the school year. So we started Friday night at the Eucharistic Pilgrimage, which was not at all what I was expecting is going to be.
What do you expect it to be?
I guess I don't really know. Well, we had that snafu in the middle of the day that we thought that it was going to come through Bellevue, which would have been much cooler. Like, why not just keep it on the boat and go through Bellevue? That would have been fun. And it would have been a really cool experience for the kids, but they didn't do that. They put it in a boat about 20, not even like 15 miles before Dubuque. But then when we got there, I was so confused. I didn't know who to listen to because I was listening to the protesters, turns out.
The protesters.
Yeah.
There's protesters.
They were protesters there.
Yeah.
Mind your own beeswax.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was distracting for someone who's easily distracted. Yeah, it was just, we got there. First of all, my friend Buddy was late picking me up. So we almost missed the whole thing. But luckily, the boat was a little behind. Yeah, and then they had these very powerful microphones.
Yeah.
Speaker systems.
Protesters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told Father, like, I think we actually do need to ask them where they got their speaker system from.
It
Because
would be great for Stations
yes,
of
I
the
was
Cross.
like, this would be just what St. Donatus needs for Stations of the Cross, for real.
It was very strong.
It was very powerful, overpowering. And I think that's the Archbishop is very soft spoken as well.
Don't
So
like
that
it. Go
was-
home. What? Ugh.
Yeah, they're anti-Catholic protesters, so they're protesting that we, all of our beliefs basically.
We live in America. That's fine.
That
Just
we-
go home and
Yeah.
believe what you want to believe,
I-
right?
I agree.
Worshipping an
Oh,
idol.
did you pray for them? Because you have to.
We did. Yeah,
We
that
did.
was-
That
we did not engage them. We prayed for
The
them.
lady in front of me engaged at one point.
Oh yeah.
She just said, "Shut up," because it was stop. Like everywhere we would walk, and I was more towards the back.
Were
I
they
think.
yelling
You
like
were in the front.
educational? Like what
Well,
was their purpose? Just to
one
be disruptive, or
yeah.
to make a difference?
They were trying to make a difference. They're trying to tell us that we were going to hell because of our idolatry of the Eucharist and different.
So they believe in hell.
They do believe in hell, yeah, and they think Catholics are going there. So
Yeah.
that's what's interesting.
When we first got there, he just kept going on and on about baking cakes for the Queen of Heaven. We're like, what is he talking about? Yeah, it's just a wafer. Like it was.
That hurts my feelings.
It was,
Yeah.
but my friend Lauren had like a very beautiful description of what she was thinking at the time, because to me it was very distracting. But to her, she said that she felt like she was walking with Jesus in Jerusalem,
That makes
where,
sense.
the people were like spitting at him and, yelling all these
Jesus had to
terrible
deal with
things.
this
And
stuff all the
and
time.
we were the ones who chose to follow him. Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah, it was.
That's a good
It was
take.
still a beautiful experience, and Father Schatz said too. Was it Father Schatz that we were singing loud enough that at one point that we overtook the speaker system, but it was still really beautiful.
Is
Yeah.
that the norm for Eucharistic pilgrimage?
I don't know necessarily. I guess he came all the way from Texas to do this.
Oh, it was one person?
There was
No.
it was a few. It was like
I've got a picture.
oh, good. There's a few.
They came from Texas.
Yeah, and I guess that
They
they
just follow along and yell.
they didn't go to Tama. They didn't go to Marshalltown or Ames.
And they did not go to Dyersville the next
so
day.
they didn't go to Dyersville. So
They saved it all.
Lazy.
So they just gave.
lazy.
We'd think if they came all the way from Texas, they'd have
Yeah,
kept
you
going.
follow along and really do some,
Dyersville's like, did you know it was just like 20 miles up the road?
a little more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Huh.
I saw one of my former parishioners outside talking to him. I guess he talked to him for like 2 hours
Mm-hmm.
after they got to the cathedral, and I don't know. Maybe he talked some sense into him. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I don't know. But it was it was distracting. But I do like Lauren's take on that.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
And we did. We just tried to pray for him, and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah. And I was, every time he was really the one that I was closest to, because there was more than one. The one that I was closest, he just kept going on about Mary and how like we idolize Mary and Mary, Mary, Mary. And I prayed a lot of Hail Marys at that point.
In your face. Sorry, that's probably bad to say that.
I've never been in like a protesting situation. Have you had that before, Father?
No, I don't. Not like that. That was really
Intense.
that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
Unusual.
But there's just something beautiful too about, kneeling in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and then also somebody shouting like, "This is blasphemy!" right
Yeah.
behind you. Yeah, it was a beautiful experience though. I don't know, kind of enhanced the experience.
It was definitely memorable that way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes,
more
we'll
memorable.
never forget.
Yeah. So.
There were a lot of people there. I think they said they're thinking 1,000.
Well, I heard that the sheriff counted 675. So
Okay.
it could have been 1,000 at one point. It could have been.
Well, they don't know math. Just kidding. That was just kidding. I have many police officers in my family. Thank you for your service.
Get a hat.
Yeah, actually, one's probably listening in their cop car right now. Sorry, Ryan, you're great at math, I think.
He's
Anyhow,
good at math. Very good at
yeah. Anyhow,
Yeah. So, yeah, somewhere between 600 and 1,000.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good group.
Yeah.
I was impressed by it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, felt like a real procession when we were
Mm-hmm.
going around. And
yeah, and one of my students was able to wear her first communion outfit and then walk with the first communicants up front, which was really, really powerful too. So that
was good. Then there's the Holy Hour. Father Gross preached
I know
at the.
the people in my group were hungry, so we missed
You
it.
missed out.
We did a holy hour after supper.
I noticed. I tried to distract you a little bit. I had a cookie I was walking through, and I saw.
Oh, yes.
sitting
Yeah, I
together.
forgot about that. Yes. Yeah, I saw
I
that.
was leaving. Then, yeah.
And that was day one of, if you want to
Yeah,
follow
day
along,
one.
just follow
There's
on
day one.
on social media. That was day one.
And
Day two.
Day 2, the actual ordination. It's very good. Went really smooth.
Mm-hmm. There's a very special deacon.
My dad was the deacon, one of the deacons.
That's cool.
So, yep. Yep, that was cool to see him up there, and he wouldn't smile. And then I was like, he was incensing us, and he was like literally right in front of me. I was in the front row, he's literally right in front of me. And I smirked at him, and he did kind of start
No
to...
case of the giggles.
Yeah,
though.
he didn't get a full out case of the giggles. So that was good. That was your first ordination. What did you think of it?
It was beautiful. Yeah, I loved
Any
it.
highlights? Any
Honestly,
thoughts?
like, it was beautiful, but the highlight of the mass was when your dad was incensing you. It was just like such a beautiful
Cool.
witness of like a father's love and like a son's, like just the way that like you were so proud of your dad. Like you could tell how proud you were of your dad, and like I'm sure your dad was like looking with the same love at you, and it's just like a witness of like how much, like, think about like how much, I tell this to the kids all the time, like how much your parents love you, how much your father loves you, and like God loves you even more than that.
It's true.
And the way he was just, it was beautiful. It was good. I did get father to crack though at one point.
Yeah.
To crack or crack? What'd you say?
Crack.
Crack.
To smile.
Because
Yeah, what was the part?
I spotted your dad was coming up to get the gifts.
Oh.
And I raised my eyebrows. Because at that point I hadn't given him a hug yet.
But afterwards, at the
But
reception,
afterwards,
you got your
I got
hug.
2 hugs.
2.
Was he like confused?
Well, I made it really awkward. So
Imagine that.
I sure did. I had to leave the table. I was so awkward. And then the next day I was going to apologize for acting like a crazy person. But,
Oh, that
you
makes
know,
it worse. Don't do that.
well, I think I was even crazier the next day. So,
Didn't he just come up to you and give you a hug the second?
yeah, the second day he just knew, like, I'll just get this out of the way right away. And I think we hugged at least 3 times. A 10 out of 10 hugger. He is a good hugger.
good.
Like a good, genuine, like, you can feel just how kind he is. Highly recommend.
Oh.
But back to Hung's ordination. Father Hung. I keep forgetting to call him Father Hung.
What'd you think when he was laying on the ground face first?
I thought that was beautiful during the Litany of Saints.
Yeah, so it's kind of like on Good Friday, at the beginning of that service, I lay down with the deacons face first. Yeah, and so that's always a
I've never seen that.
yeah.
They always do that?
Yep.
Yeah. You're
have
giving
to-
yourself away.
No, I've gone. Growing up, I went with my mom and
Just
all the time.
Maybe you
On
sit too-
Fridays.
maybe you
Good
sit too
Friday.
far
Good
back.
Friday, yeah. Or
Maybe-
maybe you just went to Stations of the Cross.
Maybe.
I don't know if you're gonna watch for that now.
rained. I don't know.
But it definitely ties into that, like when they're laying
Up
down.
front at the altar.
Yeah.
Like right
Land-
before the altar.
Right where that burn spot is when you spill
Oh,
those
is there another
incense.
burn spot now?
Yeah, there's another burn spot.
I heard about it. I was like, I didn't see it, but I heard.
Yeah. So Tiet, who's also from Vietnam, who'll be ordained a priest next year, he dropped the charcoals out of the censer right behind the altar. And so you couldn't really see it. But he reached down with his bare hand and picked that charcoal up.
Did he? I have some good burn cream. Does he need it?
I don't know. I don't know.
I tell him I have some good burn cream if he needs it.
Yeah. He that was kind of cool, but he just grabbed it like that. But
Well, no,
Yeah.
the
We're gonna-
ordination mass was beautiful, and Archbishop Zincula's homily was really beautiful. Yeah, I loved it. I'll be going back. Well, actually, I think I have a wedding next year, that weekend. Otherwise, I would definitely be going again. So then, because it was just one this year, so then, do they do it all at the same time? Like, will they all lay at the same time? And then
Yeah.
I think Jacob was saying that, and then they'll all go
There'll
separately.
be 4 chairs up there, and
Got it.
they'll all go separately. Yeah.
Yeah.
To get ordained. But they all lay down at the same time, and we'll do the litany like that.
And the cathedral is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Because you had been there before.
Yes. Yes.
So you know what it looked like before. It's much improved.
Yeah. It's really, really beautiful. And then
So that was day 2.
that was day 2. Day 3
Day
was
3.
graduation.
Yep.
I did go. Did you see me?
To graduation mass?
Yeah. It's okay. I was up in the balcony by myself. It was awesome.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No one was up there?
No, there was one other person, and she was in the middle taking pictures, and
sweet.
and then the video people were up there too. But it was awesome. I wrote 3 pages of notes
During the graduation?
during the graduation mass.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved your homily. The chicken did come into play.
Oh, after the Springbrook mass.
Yeah.
No, after the St. Aeneas mass, someone said, we've got a rubber chicken. Do you want it? And I was like, I don't know. And then they brought it for me. And I talked to Jacob about it. He's like, you have to use it.
Yeah.
And so I used
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
So I even squeaked it. I even made it.
That's awesome. I told Chris on our way home from Springbrook that was my favorite homily you've done before you even asked for my feedback. Yeah, that was good.
Thank you. Appreciate
I liked it. Tell me how the rubber chicken made it into the graduation homily, the physical rubber chicken.
Well, I actually just held it
Wait,
up.
let's pause for a second. We have to backtrack.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone that might not know. So our high school plays, our local high school plays, on the last night of their performance, they usually have 3 nights. On the last night, they pull out this rubber chicken and incorporate it somehow into the final performance. And everyone kind of just looks forward to this dumb rubber chicken. I don't know how it started, but it's just been a thing for forever. So
My homily was basically saying, I didn't understand. That was the only night I went, and someone said, you got to watch for the chicken. I was like, why are people going multiple times? That seems strange to me that they're going repeated. It's the same show. Why, and then I mentioned, for the Archbishop and anyone that didn't know, I kind of explained it's just a rubber chicken. So I held up the chicken, I squeaked it, and I said, this is not the chicken because the real chicken isn't hiding. I said, the point of the whole thing is, you're graduating. It might be tempting to not go to mass because it's same readings over and over, same thing over and over again, but you got to go look for the holy bird.
I love it.
But nobody laughed.
They laughed at Springbrook and St. Aeneas.
Nobody laughed.
Yeah, they didn't laugh. And so I said, that was supposed to be funny. You can laugh.
Then they laughed.
And then they laughed. But at Springbrook and St. Aeneas.
at that?
I don't know. At St. Aeneas, they even started
I
clapping.
giggled up in the balcony
loud
by
enough.
myself, but I was also not trying to draw attention to myself.
Wow, that was gold.
I
Right
thought-
and left.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. So you just never know how it's gonna land. Every mess is different that way. So yeah.
While I am sad to hear that your joke fell short at graduation, I have a gift for you.
You do?
That might be perfect for situations like this.
Yeah.
It's actually from my dad. It's from Roscoe.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure, I think.
It is a book full of sermon seasonings. And it has a bunch of funny stories that you can use in your homilies.
Wow.
Wow.
Collected stories to spice up your sermons
Isn't that perfect?
by Ralph Milton. Well, Ralph.
Wow.
All right. Well,
Ralph, I look forward to some
spicy
spicy sermons.
Homilies.
We'll have a spice-o-meter, and after each homily, we'll tell you where it ranked on the
Maybe grab a
spice-o-meter.
couple from that book. I don't know. He did not buy that, so you're not insulted. He didn't buy it.
Insulted.
Someone was going to throw it away, and he thought it'd be a funny thing to give to you. But honestly, I did read through a couple of the little short stories and got some good work with some of that. So
yeah.
there you go.
We'll see.
Your next
I'm
52 weekends just got very easy. There's pretty much
Very spicy.
all written down
all right
for
there.
you. So from Roscoe, stories to spice up your homily.
Thanks, Roscoe.
Yep.
A good father always knows what you need.
It's like he won't get mad at me. He'll know I'm joking, right? It's like, yeah, I don't think he'll get mad. He'll think it's funny.
Maybe I should use them on. I should do them on the podcast and see if
Oh
they're
yeah, yeah.
they're worth-
Pilot them.
yeah,
Good
pilot them
idea.
here.
Good idea. So then we went on to where are we at even?
Well, we're still on,
Graduation mass.
Oh,
We're on
graduation
graduation
mass.
mass.
Okay. Yes.
and I guess the Archbishop didn't laugh at all during that. So, well, that's what I heard. So I don't know. I haven't watched back the
I
tape.
don't watch it back.
Yeah.
That might hurt your feelings.
Yeah, it was kind of a risk, but I just wanted
No,
somebody.
it was good.
Thought it was hilarious.
I thought the homily was really good. Really
I just wanted to be
nice.
memorable for the
Yes.
students. That was
Yeah.
my goal. And I had a couple
Yeah.
weeks to think about it. So
Right.
I really,
And your point of, I liked the point that you made that it breaks your heart when. What'd you say? It breaks your heart when
people stop going to mass because they say, "Oh, I got enough of that in Catholic school."
Yes.
So-
yeah,
Oh, the banked ones
Yes.
from elementary school.
I actually wrote that
Yeah.
down during the.
Banked ones. I'm gonna use one of those banked ones. We used to go twice a week. So growing up, so
Can't bank them.
can't
No.
bank them. All right,
That doesn't
Moving
count.
on.
And then it was a quick turnaround because that was
Yeah.
the graduation mass went kind of long.
It was exactly with the timing that we thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
well.
So we walked out at 3:20, and then I told priests, don't get there until 3:30
Yeah.
because it's going to be just
Yeah.
like the parking's going to be a mess. So that was exactly the same time as it was last year. It worked out as good as could be. It was a quick turnaround. So then,
That's when I had to move that very heavy kneeler.
yeah, reset for Father Hung's first Mass of Thanksgiving, and
How'd he do?
he did really well. Yeah.
Did he give his own homily? No.
Father Schatz gave the homily, which will be his new
Did
boss.
he have people laughing?
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
people.
Oh, that.
It was a powerful homily, though.
It was.
It
good.
was really good. I honestly encourage people to go watch it. It was really good. It was a lot about how Hung could have never imagined that this is where he would be in Bellevue, Iowa, like all the way from Vietnam, and he would end up in Bellevue, Iowa, a priest.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which is kind of inspiration for our topic for the week, right?
Yeah. So something that's always like really stuck with me is Saint Theresa of Calcutta and her philosophy, I guess, that you can find your Calcutta wherever you are. I actually have a direct quote. She said, "Stay where you are. Find your own Calcutta. Find the sick, the suffering, and the lonely right where you are. In your own homes, in your own families, in your own workplaces, in your own schools. You can find Calcutta all over the world if you have eyes to see." And I've always found that so powerful just because, it doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to travel all the way around the world.
From Vietnam.
From Vietnam. I mean,
but it's-
thank goodness Hung did, but that you don't have to travel all around the world, to these faraway places to spread the gospel, to help people, to love others. There are people right where you are who need that.
Yeah, just love that person that's in front of you, right? So, and that can be, Father Schatz is saying, we can't imagine what it's going to be like. And God is bigger than our imagination, and He's going to do great things through us if we allow Him to do that. But our imagination is often too small. That's what he was kind of getting at. Our imagination is too small. But if we were just to do what we're being asked right where we're at, God would do things that we can't even expect.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think sometimes we use that as an excuse too. Well, if I had this circumstance, I would do the same thing, or I would be lost my thoughts.
You're exactly right, though.
No, that's true. Yeah. That if I would be able to feed.
If I was a millionaire, I would donate money to this or that.
Yeah.
But just start where you're at.
And I think a lot of, especially, I think kids when they graduate, they're like, I'm not going back. Because part of it, like, I'm not going back to my town because I can make a difference over here. And sometimes it takes going and doing something to realize that, there are plenty of good things that I can do right where I was at. I've been thinking about this too, with the podcast. Like because it is a lot of work, and I don't know, do people even like it? Like, do people want to do it? Do they, like, am I really making a difference? Is it worth it? And then our numbers were like lower than what they usually are. And then somebody told me this weekend that it's the best part of their week. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And somebody else said, like, I learned something new every week that I didn't know. And I get text messages all the time. And if it changes just like one heart, I think that it's probably worth it for me. And I think that just is like a lot of things. Like if you're even only reaching like one person, that's one heart.
Like the shepherd.
Yeah. Leaves the 99 for the one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to in my graduation homily, like gifts and talents and using your gifts and talents well. And we all have things that we can do, but there's this hesitancy often of well, that doesn't mean anything, or that's not, I'm not going to do that, but we need to use them. God's given us that. We need to be generous in giving our gifts to the world and where we're at, not the whole world. We think probably, we think of evangelization or sharing God's love in too big of terms, right? We just need to be where we're at and doing the things that God has called us to do right here.
Yeah. Like there are so many people who feel like lonely or, people who need help that sometimes they're right next to you. They're just maybe not asking. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a call to look around at the people in your own life, your own town, your own parishes, and really, really pray on how God's calling you to help. And I think that it depends on your phase of life too. Like I'm in a phase of life where I think that like I'm called to help any way that I can with like family who needs help or the parish needs help or the school needs help. Like I'm at a phase in my life that I can help. That's what I can do right now. And, people who have families, like their way of like loving is through their family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's their flock, right? So love your family well, Mm-hmm. That's where it starts. The domestic church, as we call it, and then going from there.
So I think that it would be like so powerful if people could really like pray and like think about people in their lives who they could help. And one of the examples I read was Blessed Giorgio Frassati. We talked about him before. He was big into fraternity. So
oh, that's right, Mr. Party.
He's a fave, yeah.
So his soup kitchen, you could kind of say, was a pool hall. And when Okay, Buddy and Annika just walked by. Now,
They were in the
Father
window.
would say they were in the window, and I would say they were across the street.
Did they wave?
They did.
Oh, I was doodling and missed it.
Anyways, so his friends would bet money, and then if he would win, if he would lose, he'd have to pay. But if he would win, they had to go to adoration with him.
Oh, that's cool.
So it doesn't have to be, it could be as simple as like inviting someone to mass or inviting someone on a walk or bringing someone flowers or just like, I think a lot of times we're so like our heads are so like down in our phones and, always thinking about like, I have to do this and do this. And I think if we just look up, I think we could see the people who really need us.
Exactly right. Yeah.
I feel like I'm a preacher.
Katie.
You read this Ralph Milton book.
I've been reading the spicy
spicy.
homilies. Spicy homily sounds really weird.
Yeah, we are too inward focused. We start to focus out, look up, look out.
Yeah.
We could find people that need to experience God's love. God works through people, right? God works through us, and we just kind of forget that He's trying to work through us to help other people, but we're not always willing. We're not always doing His will in that way.
Yeah. Do small things with big love. That's what
Yeah,
Saint
it
Theresa
doesn't have
always
to be
says.
grand.
Yeah, it could be,
It's simple.
here, let me help this off. You're at the grocery store. Let me help you get this off the shelf. Or,
Well, my daughters would cringe, but yes, that's exactly right.
like you drop this here. Or even just like a kind, like, hi, how are you doing?
Yeah.
There's so many things that we can do that don't take time
I think that-
or money or
Goes back to your word listening. Just listening to God and being open to whatever is on your heart. Like I have reached out to a couple friends on different occasions, just super random, just hey, I just feel like God wants me to tell you that you are so loved and whatever. And then you get back this really heartfelt message that says you don't know how much I needed to hear that at that point. Like it's just being brave enough to listen.
To listen, to see the Holy Spirit, the Holy Bird moving.
The Holy
the
Bird,
holy
that
bird.
chicken.
Yeah, the holy chicken.
Yeah, though. I think
Yeah, like it's really hard to like always think about that. I even think like if somebody is driving really slow in front of you and you're like, oh my gosh, like, can we get there? But like even that little act of patience, like that's sanctifying.
Or to pray for that person that moment.
Right.
I love just like small town too, just like waving at people
Right.
as they're driving. Like I think that's fun. I'm glad that's a thing here. So
Yeah. So I think there's something beautiful about I was reading that we probably are not gonna, like, Saint Teresa's not here to do all these things, and the great theologians aren't here to do that big stuff, but it's up to us. Like, we are the ones who are called to be saints, so it's us. We have to start living it and living it well as best as we can.
start where we're at.
Yeah, exactly. Right where you are is where God has put you.
yeah, because that's how we grow to become saints. As we're growing in holiness. When we're doing those things, we're stepping out in faith, knowing He's with us and doing His work. Like that's how we grow in holiness. So how we grow to be saints.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
And that is the goal.
End goal heaven, right?
End goal heaven. Amen.
Amen.
So, yeah, find your Calcutta. Ask God where He is calling you to help, big or small.
Right here.
Right here. I hope that it's a podcast for me.
Sure.
Well, once again, here we are.
Can you relate?
That was a really lame one. That was a really lame one.
Can you relate?
That was good.
That's too peppy.
Don't do it too well. You'll.
No, I don't want that job.
You'll get
That
the
sounds
job.
horrible. All right. I liked yours.
Mr. Till is on summer vacation now, so he can really start working on that jingle.
Oh, perfect.
Well, I'll have to tell him. Remind him. Do you
You want to try
yours?
again?
No.
Oh, okay.
We already sat through one.
So kind of a cool thing happened. A few I don't know, months ago maybe. I got asked what should we name the new bus, and I said well, because they want to name it after a psalm. So I said how about 37? So P37, Psalm 37. And so the bus was suddenly coming early, and it came today. And I knew it was coming today, but then I opened up my prayer book.
Stop it.
And Office of Reading today was Psalm 37.
Stop.
Surrender to God;
What?
He will do everything for you.
That is so beautiful.
That's cool.
It was a 1 in 28 chance, so not very good odds. It happens every 4 weeks. It comes around every 4 weeks.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah. So
That was a sign for sure.
that was a really good sign. God, works through the numbers and those
That's so
things.
cool.
And
Yeah.
Love it.
That's beautiful.
so, can you relate to seeing God doing confirmations in your life?
Yeah. My Can You Relate is about how God has a sense of humor.
Uh-oh.
Because that terrible photo that I took at the Magic of Children that I hated and I refused. It was that one, the three of us, and I refused to put it
The
anywhere.
flappers.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
roaring 20s.
And I said we will never post that picture
It's a good picture.
of you two.
And you. You're too hard on
But-
yourself.
God has a beautiful sense of humor, and it is now a part of this legacy video that the last time I saw had over 3,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I think God's saying you're perfect. Relax.
When that picture showed up, I was like, it can't be. Is there any way I could send you the picture that I doctored up? So
Unnecessary.
God has a sense of humor. And he really does. So
All right. On my things that I'm too old to ask. But I think, honestly, I think this one a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot, but others are going to be right there with me. When you start a new job and you have to fill out all that tax paperwork and all those questions, I don't know any of those answers. And I always have to Google the entire thing. And is that common knowledge? Do people know how to fill those out?
I don't think so.
yeah.
I don't even think the tax people know. That reminds me, I forgot to sign a tax paper. Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome. But my, can you relate? I have no sense of knowledge in anything taxi.
Yeah.
Taxi.
The fact that I'm saying taxi probably proves my point.
That's why we pay people to do that for us. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I think a lot of people don't know what to put down on that, me included. So,
When I did some subbing at school, Carrie and Mrs. Feller had to walk me through a lot of questions.
Yeah, I think that's
Good
very
people.
relatable. Mhm. Very relatable.
yeah.
There you have it.
There you have it. All right, that is our episode. Unfortunately, I do think that in order to grow the podcast, I have to be more present on social media. So just bear with me, everybody. I don't like it.
Okay.
But I'm trying to bloom where I'm planted. I'm trying to find my Calcutta. So, all right. Well, we are praying for you.
And rooting for you.
May God bless you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.